Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, I don't know what I want. Well, I've got an email here from a viewer. He's been following my work for a little while. He's read my book one time. He just found me, I guess, about a month or so ago. And what led him to my work was met this girl. They had this amazing connection at first. And then there was like 5 weeks of just fucking storybook romance. Great romance, great dating, great passionate sex. Felt like he'd met the one, if you will. And then things went sideways, which is what eventually led him to come to my work. So I have a quote that I wrote in this topic, and then I'm going to go through his email. But before I get into that, something I want to go over real quick regarding my book. So the current edition of my book, and you may see two different cover versions depending on what retailer you buy the book from. You might have one where I got my head shaved like I do in the videos, and you might have one with the older picture on it where I still have all my hair before I shaved it all off. So the current edition is the second edition. It was published in 2013. So if you buy a copy of the book that's dated any time prior to 2013, that's the first edition. The first edition was actually written by a ghostwriter, and the second edition, I mean, there's like 50 pages longer. It's a completely different book. So if you got your hands on a first edition because you're trying to save some money, you might as well take that shit and throw it in your fireplace and burn it, because you're missing out huge, big time. So, and for those of you that can't afford it, you can go to my website and read a digital copy of my book for free by subscribing to the newsletter. And if you're so inclined and you want to buy the Kindle edition or the iBook version or a paperback version, you can do that as well. But I just wanted to put that out there because I get emails sometimes. I see people commenting in the YouTube comments about which one is the current one. So we're currently on the second edition. It was published in 2013. Maybe 4 or 5 years from now, I'll do a third edition. But for right now, if you buy your book, make sure it says second edition, published 2013. So with that said, let's go through the quote that I wrote for today's video. And the quote says, if you date enough people in your life, eventually you will come across a few scoundrels. Just a few. Some people are so selfish and narcissistic that they have absolutely no empathy for anyone else's feelings. And you're going to see the woman in this particular email is pretty much like that. They don't think twice about lying and have an everyone for themselves type of attitude. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's simply that they suck as human beings. The people who hurt you the most often teach you the biggest lessons. No relationship is ever a waste of your time. There's a gift in every experience that is designed to make you better so you can attract an even better quality lover the next time around. Because if you don't learn from your fuck-ups and you don't learn from your mistakes, well, the universe has a way of continually bringing you those same kind of people so you have the opportunity to transcend them, especially if you're constantly attracting the same kind of people with the same kind of flaws, and they always end the same way. Just like any really good professional athlete is focused on one simple thing, and you should be focused on that as well if you're concerned about personal peak performance, which is this: just try to get a little better each and every day. Everything that happens, every rejection, every failure, what can I use this for? How can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I become a better version? How can I avoid this shit the next time around? That's the way you want to look at it. So with that said, let's go through his email. He says, "Hi Coach, I just wanted to say thank you for all your great work and advice. I'm quite new to your work, but I'm so glad that I found it. I've just finished reading your book for the first time, and it has really helped me get over and understand the last girl that I dated. I will tell you what happened in case you wanted to use the story in some way, but I will keep it short because I know you're a busy man." Well, you're in luck. I'm using your email in a video. "I met this great girl a few months ago on a night out. We hit it off straight away. There was something between us. I thought she was perfect. Great body, great ass, blonde hair, and the banter to go with it. Well, sometimes looks can be deceiving. That's why it's so critically important that you don't do what I used to do when I was in my early 20s and my mid-20s, which is just get totally bowled over by a woman's beauty and just assume that she's got to be just as awesome on the inside as she is on the outside. And the reality is, there's a lot of women out there that are really fucked up, but they look so good. And the sex is amazing. But they're just really shitty people. That's why you want to remain objective. And I learned that the hard way. I got burned enough times to realize, you know, there's more to dating than just a pretty ass and a pretty face. We spent the whole night together, dancing, kissing, etc. And at the end of the night, we exchanged numbers, but there's always a but. But then she told me that she had a boyfriend. Oh, gee, thanks for letting me know this. So we went our separate ways. So all night she's all over him, kissing him. Oh, by the way, I have a boyfriend. Delete, block. Next time around, when this guy meets a chick like that, out the fucking door. Think about it. This guy that's her boyfriend thinks he's in a relationship with her. And here she is. What's she doing? She's lining up the replacement. That's pretty fucking selfish and narcissistic. What about her boyfriend? There's a lot of women out there that are like that, and their attitude towards this, because I've had these discussions with some of the women that I've dated that were like this, and what's interesting is their attitude is, hey, you know, if this guy's too stupid to figure out what he's got, well then, oh well, that's their attitude. I had a girl that had that kind of attitude, and her whole family was in law enforcement, and they all kind of had the same attitude, like, oh well, tough shit, you know, you snooze, you lose. That was their attitude. And they were in law enforcement. It's like, you live and you learn. 2 days later, she texted me telling me that she had broken up with her boyfriend because he cheated on her and she wanted to see me. Ah. So all's fair in love and war. He fucks around on her, so she cheats on him. How about if she had a healthy self-esteem and she was a woman of integrity, she would have said, fuck you, jerk off, and she would have dumped his ass. And then everything would have been fine. But instead, she gives the boyfriend the impression that she's still going to hang around, but what's really going on is she's too insecure to do anything about it. She wants to make sure that she's got a replacement lined up. So she leads him on and makes him think that everything's fine, everything's okay. And the reality is she just doesn't want to end the relationship until she lines up somebody new. Like attracts like. Just remember that. He's a cheater. Well, she's pretty much the same way. And you'll see why when I get to the end of the email, what actually ends up happening. He says, we met up the next night and we carried on right where we left off. So I wrote about a girlfriend that I had that was kind of like this. She was dating this guy that I had used to work with when I was still in the construction industry, and I hadn't seen the guy in like 4 or 5 years. She told me that they were just hanging out. They weren't really dating. It was kind of over. But they were pals, buddies. She's grabbed my ass the whole night. She's with this guy. When he wasn't around, she's fucking grabbing my ass and flirting with me, batting her eyelashes at me, just giving me fuck me eyes. And I was totally taken with her beauty. I learned the hard way. He continues on that we spent the next 5 weeks together dating, having fun, and having great sex. She couldn't get enough texting and calling me all the time to see how I was and when we were going to see each other next. It was a great 5 weeks. And after the 5 weeks, I had to leave the country for 2 months to work. But before I left, she gave me the, where is this going question? So obviously sounds like she wanted to be exclusive. And this particular woman I wrote about, she was the same way, all over me, calling me. I mean, literally, we didn't know each other. We met, and then it was like phone calls and texting just about every day. Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. But actually, they were mostly phone calls because this was before texting was invented back then. Damn. You know what? I remember phones. When I was a kid growing up, we had one of those fucking rotary phones where you put your finger and it goes. When I wrote term papers when I was in high school, I used a fucking typewriter. I didn't have a fucking word processor. How was that supposed to make you feel old? Or like, what the fuck? Anyways, we spent the next 5 weeks together dating, having fun, having great sex. So anyways, after the 5 weeks, I had to leave the country for about 2 months to work, but before I left, she gave me the "where is this going" question. So, you know, again, she wants to be exclusive, and she told me that she wanted me to come back to her and for us to be together, that she was so excited to be with me and have a future with me. Sounds great. I mean, what guy wouldn't want to hear that? Remember, she's got a really great ass. She even said, "I think this is something special." And as any guy would, when a great hot girl is saying this to you, I said yes. You were hypnotized by the punani. The poussoir, as one of my college buddies used to say. He was always like, "Dude, we gotta go out. Let's go get some poussoir, man." Well, the reality was he wasn't getting no poussoir, but he was always talking about poussoir and getting poussoir. First month I was away, everything was fine, and she was still calling, texting, and Skyping me all the time in the fun and naughty way we always did. But then she started being different with me. Not calling as much and being distant when she replied to my texts. It just kind of follows the same pattern. I asked her what was wrong. Like you're going to get a straight answer to that question. And she gave me the "I don't know what I want" speech. When a woman says "I don't know what I want," what she's really saying is, "I know what I want, and it's just not you, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to hurt your feelings, and I don't know how to get myself out of this situation that I'm in." And they just hope that a guy can read between the lines and figure out what that means. What she's really saying is, I had a lot of fun, but, you know, I just want to play the field. I want to have some fun. We argued a little because I was so confused as to what happened. I told her I was going to give her space to find out what she wanted, and I'd see her when I got back in 3 weeks. That's a great comeback right there. Straight away, she replied with, "No, don't do that to me. Don't leave me." And he says, "I thought, she'll be back. What did I do?" Seems like he didn't really realize. He basically put his foot down and says, "I'm not putting up with this shit. You don't know what you want? You're all over me telling me how special this is and how magical and wonderful and it's meant to be." And then you're going, "I don't know what I want." Fuck that nonsense. Yes, after 3 days of not hearing from her, I chased and I chased and I got no reply except, "I'm too busy to talk." This is the girl that's all over him, calling, texting him several times a day, and she says, "I'm too busy to talk." Translation, I have no interest in talking to you, dude. Because she's on a cock carousel, as you say. After about a week of this, I sent her a big message basically saying, "Tell me what's happening. I need you in my life." Wow. I need you in my life. That sounds really confident. She told me that she had changed her mind and didn't want anyone anymore. What she's really saying is, I don't want you anymore because my attraction is in the toilet. And therefore, I'm going to find somebody else that I feel something for. She just wanted to have fun for a while, basically until the next dude came along. I sent another needy text and I never got a reply. I found out from a friend that not long after I left, she had been sleeping with another guy. Huh. Imagine that. She's telling him all this bullshit. He's thinking everything's great for the first month. But what hopefully he's now realized is that obviously that first month that he was away, her attraction level was dropping. 5 weeks of all this, oh, this is really something special, and then as soon as he goes out of the country, she's on another dude's cock. This is a fuck buddy, nothing more. And how do I know that? I mean, I dated women that are like this. There's some women that are just like this. They don't feel any remorse at all. I mean, did she feel any remorse about kissing this guy and when she supposedly still had a boyfriend? Of course not. Her attitude is, as long as she's engaged and she's interested, she'll be loyal. She'll be into you. But as soon as you start fucking up, you snooze, you lose. She don't care. I didn't say anything to her. I was so confused and angry about what had gone on. It's not your fault, dude. It's just, now you're finding out her true nature. I was so caught up with trying to win her back when I came home. Then I found out that she's back with her ex, and I lost it even more. But then I found your work, and it completely changed everything. Well, there is a little bit of a happy ending at the end of this. And a happy finish, by the way. Even though the time we spent together was great, and she was hot, that is not the type of girl I want in my life. Dude, it's really awesome that you realize that now. I went through a lot of pain to learn this shit the fucking hard way. He says, if a girl can't be bothered with trying to keep you in her life, why should you? Absolutely. Besides, she has no integrity, loyalty. Can you imagine this being your wife and you go away on a business trip for a few weeks? She's going to be fucking the next door neighbor. Why? Because she's fucking bored. Girl's got needs. She don't fucking care. Loyalty? She'll be loyal as long as she's happy and her needs are being met. But the moment that she feels like her needs aren't being met or they may not be met in the future, all's fair in love and war. She don't give a fuck about nobody. And if you were to talk to her, more than likely, there's probably in her family is a history of cheating. Probably your parents did that. Or, I mean, that's what you see. Those are the kinds of patterns that you see. Like the one girlfriend I was talking about earlier, her father had cheated on her mother. I mean, that's the way it was. When you grow up in an environment like that and that kind of shit's going on, the kids are going to learn that stuff. Parents think they're being so clever when they go, oh, we're staying in it for the kids. And I was like, yeah. When your kids are all fucked up and you go, gee, I just don't understand how they could be this way. It's like, if you can't really trust someone, then you can't truly be happy. Love cannot exist where there is no trust, my friend. Even though I did do some things wrong, that does not make it right for what she did. True, but at the end of the day, she doesn't care because it doesn't mean anything to her. She has no integrity. She's a fuck buddy, friends with benefits, sex playmate, that's it. If I hadn't found your work, I'd probably be still hung up on this girl. I went out on my first date since this happened the other night. I followed all the steps in your book, and it went great. We hung out, had fun, and hooked up at the end of the night. Happy finish. Nice. She even asked me about when we were going to go on our next date. And he says, winning. Well, she's obviously pretty eager. And one thing I would say, one little tingle of a red flag might be, just pay attention. This new girl could be really insecure. So just keep that in mind. Take that with a grain of salt. Just be on the lookout. Because when you go through an experience like the one you did with this other girl, and you get fucking burned by it, it really tends to heighten your sensory acuity, so you don't make the same mistake twice. He says, so cheers again, coach. Keep up the good work, and I will definitely recommend your work. Well, cool. I mean, again, those are when you have painful experiences like these are the ones that really teach you a lot. And the next time a girl comes along with a really hot ass and beautiful face and boobs that jiggle when she laughs, you're not going to be hypnotized, hopefully, as long as you learn the lesson. And then you could spot those character flaws and, you might hook up with her for a little bit. And she says, oh, well, I have a boyfriend, by the way. And you think, okay, well, she's potentially a fuck buddy. I'm never going to call this girl. And a couple days later, she calls you and you hang out, you have fun, and you hook up. And after a couple of weeks of that, she goes, where is this going? Just say, well, I'm just having fun. I'm not looking for anything serious. I mean, quite frankly, I wouldn't be in a commitment with you because you cheated on your boyfriend with me. So I can never have a girlfriend or a wife. It's somebody like you. But we can have a lot of fun together. We can be friends with benefits. And But that's all I'll ever be willing to offer you. And if you're cool with that, then let's keep hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. But I want a girl that I can settle down with and marry or have kids or a family. I mean, whatever it is that you happen to be looking for. And if she gets all pissed off about it, just say, all right, give me a call if you change your mind. Just never make the mistake of thinking that a woman like this will change. That's just the way they are. It's not your fault, but it doesn't mean you can't have a great time. Just make sure you wear a fucking raincoat. You got to protect the member. Got to protect the general. So if you'd like to give my help personally, the quickest way is go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page, and book whichever coaching option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.